Idella Warden. I am the state MRTA chair. I'm also in charge of Region 10, in charge of my local unit. So yeah, I know membership from all the fun and games that go along with it from the bottom all the way to the top. I have not been state chair for very long. Sandy White did an excellent job, but because of health reasons, she is no longer able to. So if you will look in that front of that packet, there is a little thing that I call an MRTA membership calendar. And the reason I put that in there is so that all of you will know. Because if you carry nothing else away from this session, every one of you in here is part of the membership committee. It is not for those 2 or 3 folk that get the official membership committee info. Every one of you are an MRTA membership member. And if you do not have one of these little jobbies in your purse, or in your billfold, or in your wallet, you need to carry one of these everywhere. Talk to a lady out walking her dog. Well, she was a retired teacher. You remember of MRTA? No. What's that? Well, let me get you an application and let me tell you about MRTA. I handed out 5 of these at choir practice at church a month or 2 ago when the DESI leak became public. All of a sudden, people were kind of interested in a group that was helping take care of their retirement because, you know, there might have been somebody doing something with it that they should not have been. We used to say that Jared Taylor was the greatest membership chairman, or membership committee member that we had, because when he started wanting to do things with the retirement, we had all sorts of people who certainly wanted to be members of MRTA. But that should not be the case. We should be proactive, taking care of that, instead of reactive when somebody is doing something that harms our retirement. When we go to schools, and that has not happened for the last 2 years, but before that, in the fall, we would always go to schools and we would tell the new teachers information about MRTA for people who were getting ready to retire. And we always said, MRTA, we are the group that keeps other people's grubby little hands and fingers off our retirement funds. And that's what we do. That isn't a nice way to put it, but that's what we do. In October, that is the first push to start getting renewals, and you see that on your calendar. We're trying to get everybody to renew so that they are renewed by, excuse me, I've been talking too long today. So they are renewed by the beginning of the year. Now, if you do not have a whole stack of those that are the automatic draft, I've got a glass back here, I'll just get it, Sarah, thank you. That are the automatic draft form. You need to pick up a stack of those down off the table, and you ought to be handing those things out like candy bars. Because the automatic draft renewal program, Sarah will attest, saves our office tons of postage. Well, I would much rather that my membership due that I pay every year to MRTA goes to something a little bit more important than buying stamps. I mean, I realize that's a good deal, but no, it saves so much money, and every one of your people in your local that comes to a meeting, they need to be aware of that. And all you have to do is put a big X through a check, staple it to it, send it in. You can do it online. I believe the MRTA has to pay if you do it by credit card. I've got too many things going on in my life. I have to pick up grandsons from school. I have to go to choir concerts. I don't want every October for MRTA have to send me a letter saying, hey, Adela, you need to renew once again. So get those automatic draft renewals to your people. Saves them a headache. It's the easiest thing in the world to do, and then we don't have to waste a ton of postage. So that is done in October to try to get all of those done by January. That's also a good time to call people and say, hey, you need to renew your membership to your local. If you don't want to come, that's okay. Just send us your money because we're going to give a scholarship to some person who wants to become an education major. So, yeah, a good time to get all of those renewals done, and then they're done by the first of the year. In February, your local retirement chair will get these lovely little sheets of paper that have all these names on them, sometimes phone numbers, sometimes addresses, of people who did not renew. I got 17 pages I went to my local meeting and I said, there is no way I can call 17 people. I'm gonna sneeze around and let's take a page. I photocopied on the back the little speech that we got from the MRTA office. This dear lady, bless Keula's heart, Keula is a former librarian, you would guess that. She put notes by everybody she called. I need to call a couple of these people or send emails out because they said they would renew online and we just need to check base and make sure they did. If the phone number was wrong, she'd get a good phone number, she put it down, we got an address change over here, and then all of this will go to Paige. If you do not have this written down, write it down somewhere. Paige Holtmeyer, PAIGE, HOLTMEYER at MRTA.org. Paige is in charge of the membership list. Paige is a wonderful, efficient young lady, and she will take care of these. Now, you may have people who are in nursing homes. They may not, to quote one of the ladies, said they don't even know who they are. Well, yeah, I understand that happens sometimes. They may not have access to their funds. Make sure that Paige knows this, and I forgot to turn on my timer, and I'm going to be in big trouble here in a minute. Make sure that Paige knows this. Yeah, well, yeah, the insurance guys didn't turn on their timer either. But make sure she knows it so we can get adequate lists. Somebody said that in some cases, the people's names are on 2 lists, and this is really easy to happen. I taught in Ozark, but I live in Springfield, and so, see, those names could be on 2 different lists. So if you find that happening, because the person's got to get annoyed if he gets more than one phone call, let Paige know. Let Paige know all of these things to take care of these renewals. In 2020, our renewal rate was 83%. In 2021, it was 81%. As of February the 18th, it is 72%. Folks, we've got to do better than that. We've got to do better than that. We are losing 3 to 4 members every day to death. So we need over 1,000 new members every year to keep our membership up. I know, I'm membership chair, but I say membership is the very most important committee out there, because if we don't have members, we don't have an organization. And if we don't have members, we don't have an organization that can go to the state legislators and say, hey, there are 30,000 of us that don't like what you're doing, so knock it off, because we don't like it. We're going to vote you out if you don't. So membership is so very important. That's why all of you are members. The next thing is April. The letter is not in here because Maria had 1 or 2 things she was doing and she didn't have time to write us a new letter. But she will get it out by April 1. April 1, a letter goes to 521 superintendents, and it tells them that it is time for them to send the names to MRTA. We are a group that works to take care of pensions. We would prefer that they paid the first-year membership for those new retirees, but if not, just send us the names and the addresses and the phone numbers, and at the bottom of that letter, the state statute is printed that says they can't legally do this because of June 1, those people are no longer their employees. I found out in one of my meetings today that will be in the school board minutes, the names of everyone who is retiring. Mm-hmm. If the school board does not do that, we have had, oh my goodness, the problems we have had with people getting names. Nixa is a case in point. Nixa would not give us the names of their new retirees. But on Facebook, which is so private, they had a video with every retiree talking about his or her educational career. So I watched the video, wrote all the names down. Martha Schatz and I went to white pages and found addresses and phone numbers. Sometimes they'll put them in the newspaper. Copy those names down, send them in. On the sheet that I have, you will see that sometimes it says no addresses. These are sheets that make me want to cry sometimes. These are every region, and if they are white, it means that the information was turned in for all those school districts. There were 6 of the 14 that did that. But if you see the yellow, that means We got no information. We don't know who those new retirees are. We have no way to contact them. They're pretty much lost to us. We did find out that Parkway, which has 17,000 students and over 3,000 staff, NEA for some reason told the superintendent he wasn't supposed to do that. That to me doesn't make any sense. I was an NEA member. I don't know why NEA would do that. MRTA cooperates with NEA. That's something that needs to be addressed. But there are all kinds of ways of getting these names, and we need these names. Martha Schatz taught at Nixon, and she had a good friend, and she would say, I'd like to see the names of the retirees. And the friend would say, well, I can't give them to you, but there's a piece of paper on my desk, and I'm going to go to the bathroom. And so while you're in here, if you happen to take a picture of that list, I don't know anything about it. So get these names. These are the way we get the new information out. That's why we have so many on our calling list of non-renewals, because one dear lady, I love Natalie, I taught across the hall from her for years, but when Cuba called Natalie, Natalie thought that membership was for life. Well, no, that would be a whale of a bargain, that for $44 you could have an MRTA membership for life. We'd all sign up for that. So we informed Natalie, no, that's not quite the way it works. You need to send us some more money, and you'll be a member in the following years. But that is the big push, is to get these names. For that reason, you will see that I have the speech to the superintendents in here. That's a sample speech, I mean to school boards, not superintendents, to school boards. That's a sample speech. You can make up your own. You guys are teachers, you're writers, you know how to make those up. What happens is, if you get the school board to give that MRTA membership, then it's in the minutes of the school board. And to stop doing that, they would have to, in a school board meeting, vote to rescind that gift. Well, they're probably not going to do that. So the other thing you need to be aware of is when the school district does that, you may have to call them every year and remind them. Because about 3 years ago, all the secretaries in Ozark played musical chairs. And so when I called the person I normally called, she was a new person. She didn't know anything about the school board doing this. So I called and I said, well, it's in your board minutes. You pay the first year membership for every retiree, which brings me to something else. There are little pamphlets down there. I think I gave them all out last session. Now, MRT is not just for teachers. It is for the custodians. It is for the bus drivers. It is for the cooks. It is for the secretaries. It is for the nurse. It is for the paras. We would like for you to give an MRTA membership for every person who is retiring, and stress that, every person who is retiring. There's a little school board speech that you can give. When I gave it to Ozark, I informed them that Nixon was already doing this. Well, if you know anything about Nixon, Ozark, they're very competitive, and so Ozark School Board agreed. 6 years ago, my husband died. 5 years ago, I decided the dog and I did not need a 4,000 square foot house. I had 5 walk-in closets. What was I thinking? I mean, I got rid of so much stuff. These are teachers who are retiring. They don't need more stuff. A clock is nice, a plaque may be nice, but what are you going to do with the thing? And so the membership to MRTA, what do I like more than the clock or a plaque? Is every month when I get my bank statement, I see that my retirement check has been deposited in my checking account. And that is vital. So try to get the school board to do that. If they will, you may still have to stay on them, but it's going to eventually get there. The secretary, I don't have that done yet. Well, I'm going to call you back in 3 weeks, and I write on my calendar, and I call her back in 3 weeks. And I taught at Ozark, so I'm going to call Ozark and get those names. You taught at Nixon, you're going to get Nixon's names. You taught at Sparta, you're going to get Sparta's names. You taught at Clever, you're going to get Clever's names. Divvy that up. Hey, I used to teach in this school. I've got a little bit of clout, not much, but a little bit. And I know the superintendent, he was the math teacher across the hall from me, and so, you know, I need these names. Yes, you have a question?
Well, back to the letter from Maria saying they need to send that. Well, isn't that duplicating what we're supposed to be doing at the unit level and then the region level?
And one would hope they would send them in, but they don't. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, there will be some that will, but they're superintendents. It's April. You know what school is like the end of April and May. And so you have to say, and that's what I always say, you got a letter from MRTA, it had the statute at the bottom of it, telling you that you could release this information. You will also see there is an Attorney General's opinion. Now, it's old. That is an old letter. I don't think the current Attorney General would probably give us that kind of a letter, since he's out busy suing schools that want kids to wear masks, but that's another story. However, that is a legal precedent, a legal opinion that has been offered. So even though it is dated, it is still good. If you still can't get this information, I have called Jim Kreider in the past, I'm sure Maria will do exactly the same. Hey, we need a sunshine request sent to this school board. They will not release the information. Send them a sunshine request. And many times that will get them to release the information. But once again, all that information is public knowledge. It is in the school board notes that these people are retiring. All we're asking is for a phone number and an address. They will sometimes give you school email addresses, which are just about as useless, because June 1, everybody's kicked off the school server, and so those don't work anymore. But sometimes you can get those school email addresses and say, I am a member of MRTA, we are the group that is trying to take care of your pension, could you please send me your home email address? And I've had people that will do that. And if you have any kind of a picnic or a party or anything like that at the end of the year, invite those new retirees to it. That's a way maybe to get them to come. We know new retirees, and with everything that's been going on for the last 2 years, everybody is meetinged out. They really don't want to come to meetings, so try to find some fun things that maybe they can come to, like a free picnic. Those are just some ideas that will perhaps help you. As I said, the Attorney General's opinion there. Remember that every one of you are part of the membership committee. You've got to help the membership chairs. Remember Paige's name. As soon as you get any information about new retirees, send it right to Paige. Send a note to your regional chair that you have sent that to Paige, because what I do is I take my list of all our schools, and when I know that it's been sent in, I put the date that they sent me an email and said they sent it in. If I, after middle of May, don't have any information, I will call the person who is in charge and say, hey, what's going on with this school district? We don't have any information at all. And let me tell you, for those of you that live in rural areas, you better get that information before the last day of school, because the last day of school, there will not be a secretary, there will not be a principal, there will be nobody in the building except maybe the custodians, polishing the tile floors, and they don't have an idea of who retired last year, so they're not terribly helpful. But yeah, get that information and get it as quickly as you can. They know by April. I bet there's not a superintendent out there that doesn't already know which of his or her teachers are going to be retiring. So start working on this now. April is just right around the corner. Help your membership committees do this. It takes all of us to get this done.